Hey everyone, Nick here with Algaeo, and today I'm going to be showing you how to set up your system. I have 1 gallon of algae, and I also have a starter Algaeo auto module system that we're going to be using to set up a 55-gallon round barrel drum kit today. So the first thing you're going to want to have is a 55-gallon round barrel drum. You can see that I have mine here, and this was a former setup of mine that I had growing some of my starter culture, but I've cleaned it out somewhat, and I am going to install the new culture here as well as the system. It's important to note that if this is a new setup, you really just want to make sure that you've washed this out pretty adequately. A lot of times chemicals, cleaning materials and chemicals can be stored inside of these round barrel drums, and we just want to make sure that they're free of any of those. Since I know prior that I've cleaned this round barrel drum out, and the only other thing I've had in here since then has been some algae, which if you look down in there you can still see some residue. I'm not too afraid to start a new batch of culture in this barrel here. So whether you're doing a 275-gallon system setup or 55-gallon, the one thing you're going to need, and quite a bit of, is water. I recommend filling your container at first with about 20% of the volume of your container with water. So if you have a 55-gallon system, you're probably going to want to put somewhere around 10 to 15 gallons of water in your. So now we're going to let this fill up. Again, about 20% of the way. So we're looking to, if we have our round barrel drum, we probably want it to fill up to about here. This should be a good starting point. And you can technically fill it up all the way if you wanted, but the reason why I always recommend starting lower instead of higher is that you can really see the algae grow if you start at a lower level compared to if you start at a much higher level. If you fill it up completely, it's going to take a lot longer for the container to kind of saturate green, and you might think that your algae has died and start doing things with it. So I always recommend starting small and then filling as you see that color become darker in your container. So the next thing we want to do is we want to take our starter culture, and once we filled up an adequate amount of water in our container, we can take our culture here, and we can simply pour this in to the container in order to get the culture growing alongside its new environment. So the next thing we want to do is we want to attach our system to our barrel. And the system is designed with grooves on the bottom so that it fits to the head of the barrel on the container. Alright, so this is kind of a tough angle for me to do since I'm filming this by myself, but essentially you're going to drop both of your tubes into a port and then simply attach the system, screw it on, make sure it has a snug fit. It's going to be a little loose, but it should be snug for the most part. Now, the system does require a 120 volt plug. Here on my patio, I have these plugs right here connected to a timer. Your system should come with a timer so you can set the interval in which it will run, but you simply plug this in. With the system plugged in, you want to verify that you have aeration within your container. You should see bubbles are here, a rumble. And if you see that pretty well, then you are probably good to go.